So, ladies and gentlemen, let's look into facts. Did Al MacNeil get a rough go by the media or his fellow players in the I call it the incompetent season, the 1971 Cup run? Well, let's look at the published facts, and I basically think that Al, being the experienced NHL and AHL player he was, deserved a crack at coaching a major league team. Should have been the Montreal Canadiens. Well, we don't know because Toe Blake was long gone. They gave the job to Claude Ruel, and Claude Ruel had some problems mentally and physically with the job. Now, during the 1971 season, MacNeil had become an assistant coach for the squad, and but after 23 games, Montreal was still having a hard go of it, and Ruel led the team to a mediocre record that could not establish a playoff run in the second half. So management took several major decisions, some good, some bad. They made a major trade with Detroit to get Frank Mahovlich, one of the best scoring left wings in NHL history. Now, the Canadiens later rallied to qualify for the playoffs at the third seed in division, and MacNeil led the squad into the playoffs. Now, what really started all this was that MacNeil made the decision to use rookie goaltender Ken Dryden in the playoffs, despite the fact Rogie Vachon was the number one. This drew some disparity in the media and amongst the fans, and I'm going to just go by the published information just to break it down for you. Now, according again to published reports, the unilingual Anglophone Al MacNeil, despite being in the NHL for a number of years, couldn't speak a word of French. He was first criticized over not getting Vachon. Now, in the playoffs, first round went pretty well, unexpected. He knocked off Boston. But the great John Ferguson took a mental freak in Game 2 of the semifinal series against Minnesota when, for some reason, Al MacNeil decided to replace Ferguson with the young and pretty well untested speed merchant, Bobby Sheehan. Now, Ferguson, a player who gave his heart and soul to the squad between 63 and 70, and who had came out of retirement in November to help the struggling Canadians, exploded in rage on the bench and left for the dressing room. Now, according to what was broadcast on U.S. TV, he basically turned around and threatened MacNeil and said, you're full of shit, or something to that extent, and how dare you do this to me after me coming back and all that. I should be out there. Now, they knocked off Minnesota, but things got worse in the finals when he decided to bench, of all people, Henri Richard for a supposed non-call on a penalty. It's not because Richard got a penalty, it's because MacNeil thought he should have been given a penalty, like he was, really pushing it with the Francophone players. Ferguson was considered part of that Francophone kind of mafia on the Canadiens. Now, after the game, Richard, who would soon succeed Beliveau as team captain, ripped MacNeil before the assembled reporters and said in French, a literal translation, he's incompetent, he's the worst coach I've ever played for. Now, Richard only played for a few coaches, and MacNeil's, according to many, his biggest mistake, like Claude Ruel, that he didn't have the magic of Toe Blake with the players. Now, Richard's rant caused the media firestorm back in Montreal, with columnists and radio show callers asking for MacNeil's head. Well, a little more than a head, they literally wanted his head. Now, some columns had colors that for him were very, very over the top, and the Canadiens took these death threats so seriously they hired security specialists to keep watch over the coach during Game 6 of the finals. Now, because Game 5 was critical to Montreal's continuation of the series, MacNeil was trying to overcoach the Canadiens and not let it take self. Although some people praised him that he put Ray Jean Hull against Bobby Hull as a defensive shadow, and Hull only scored only one even strength goal in the series. Now, Richard responded to the situation by leading the team to the Stanley Cup in Game 7. Now, although MacNeil and Richard hugged at the end of the game, it did little to patch up their differences. And MacNeil, as part of a stopgap, asked to leave the Canadiens, and he was demoted to head coach of the Nova Scotia Voyageurs, where when later on Scotty Bowman, who was fluently bilingual, succeeded him as head coach of the Habs. Now, he won 3 Calder Cup championships in 6 years with the Voyageurs, and ironically, he won 2 cups later on in Montreal in 78 and 79 as director of player personnel for the Habs. Now, MacNeil's efforts in the AHL was very, very positive. He made their Hall of Fame class in 2014 and later helped Calgary to a Stanley Cup. So, where he was the AGM in '89. So, overall, a great career. Were it not for those incidents in Montreal, but the pressure was on because with Montreal not making the playoffs in 1970, they needed the fire of Richard and Ferguson to not be put out by somebody that didn't understand what was needed. And it's not his fault that Montreal was extremely, what's a proper term? Not Montreal's fault. He was extremely unprepared for the job. He needed more seasoning. But at the time, if you couldn't speak French and anything in relation to Montreal Canadiens, you had to be basically, accepted by the players who could, and he was never accepted. It started with John Ferguson. It didn't start with Henri Richard. Anyway, that's my opinion. Have a good day. Bye.